Welcome to another latest article from Clive. God inspires, so carefully write them down to share them with you. Remember, may God be the non-anxious presence in your life. This article is entitled The End of the Rope. Matthew 9:19-22, and Jesus arose and followed him, and so did his disciples. And behold, a woman which was diseased with an issue of blood 12 years came behind him, and touched the hem of his garment. For she said within herself, If I may but touch his garment, I shall be whole. But Jesus turned about, and when he saw her, he said, Daughter, be of good comfort, thy faith hath made thee whole. And the woman was made whole from that hour. The rules of society meant that she was barred from ever going near or entering the temple or church. She was defiled, so she could never visit a priest, a pastor, an elder. Even her husband and family made sure they lived separately from her. But she had one last thread of hope, and that was Jesus. That ribbon of blue on the hem of his garment, which represented God, her only hope and chance of healing and of restoration. So she grasped the opportunity as it swept past her, just within reach. So she lunged. She grasped that last thread of hope and was instantly healed and restored. The Easters sing this song, Thread of Hope. We'll quote it. The woman needed healing of that dreaded disease. Her money brought physicians, but only Jesus could bring relief. And though her last thread of hope was worn down to a strand, her heart held on to faith so she could touch him with her hand. Because when you're hanging by a thread, still you can climb life's mountains, though the cliffs are rough and ragged. You can cope. If you should slip and reach rope's end, you'll find the hem of his garment. So don't let go of that last thread of hope. Is that you hanging onto a frayed and fragile faith? Are you clinging to the rocks above the canyon of dismay? Reach out for the lifeline, it will never break in two. Hold fast and don't lose heart. Once again, God will pull you through. Because when you're hanging by a thread, still you can climb life's mountain. Though the cliffs are rough and jagged, you can cope. If you should slip and reach rope's end, you'll find the hem of his garment. So don't let go of that last thread of hope. If you should slip and reach rope's end, you'll find the hem of his garment. So don't let go of that last thread of hope. Now, there's an old book, a mountaineering thriller novel, The Man on the End of the Rope, which was written in 1960 by Paul Townend, which is a vintage mountaineering thriller focused on the mysterious figure on Eiger's North Wall. The Eiger's North Wall, that nearly vertical wall of rock, snow, and ice, almost 1,828 meters, it's nearly 6,000 feet, or 1.1 miles tall from its base to the mountain's 3,967 meter summit, making it the tallest north face in the Alps. Well known for both its technical difficulties and its extreme hazards from avalanches, falling rock, and severe weather, the North Face is also notorious for the many accidents and tragedies that have befallen its climbers, for which it has been given the colloquial epithet Mordwand, the murder wall, a play on Nordwand, North Wall. The greatest difficulty surpassed is from the spider-shaped ice field high on the north face of the mountain, towering above the town of Grindelwald. As every climber discovers, the white spider is the key to a successful ascent of Nordwand. Although physically exhausted by the time they reach that point, climbers must navigate the steep ice field to reach the peak summit. The white spider acts as a funnel, with rocks and ice slides channeling through the ice field, putting the climbers in great danger while on the field. The white spider channels the melt from above, but ice and rock sort of dam it up. Then, from time to time, it bursts, dumping chunks of ice and rock and frigid water on those below it, who are foolishly attempting to try to get up and over and above the white spider. In the story, a very experienced alpine guide, Hans Albrecht, and an unknown stranger set out in the frigid darkness for a head start on a rapid ascent on the North Wall. As the ice then is still frozen solid, strong and reliable, Albrecht knew the way. From the ice steps already carved by the successful team that had successfully conquered the mountain a couple of days earlier, their headlamps guiding, and by sunrise they were well up the wall and making fast progress. By nightfall they were up and over the third ice field and up above the sharp bulge, Bugelsane, where they could bivouac for their night out, high up on the North Wall. And at this rate they would summit by the following afternoon, victorious. Early next morning, the two climbers were approaching one of the most dangerous parts of the whole climb, the steep ledge known as the Rempe, which led to an exposed and near vertical ice field called the Spider, on account of the curious web-like structure. Shoots of water, ice and debris swept down the Spider's channel like ruts, drenching the men with alarming force. Just a little more time, cross this almost difficult white spider, and that is the worst behind them. The summit is now straightforwards. Well, vertically straight up above them, and so tantalizingly close. But disaster strikes. A jagged chunk of icefall strikes the two men. The leader and guide is badly injured, but somehow makes it a bit further up the face to a minuscule ledge where he is much later rescued with near impossible difficulties. But he dies in the arms of the rescuer. The other is swept out over the overhang, battered and bruised, broken arm. He is alive, as that kind of makes him for the moment, and thus he becomes the man on the end of the rope. After 7 days out in appalling weather, some 90 hours after the fall, still securely attached to his rope, with 56 people from 7 nations, 4 teams using the very best equipment, 4 totally different methods, all quickly discover that the man on the end of the rope is in a place where rescue is absolutely impossible. And they know it, for it has already cost the lives of 3 of the rescue team. This is way too dangerous. All attempts are abandoned, so they leave the man on the end of the rope. His lifeless body hung doubled over, swaying in the breeze, and as the weeks turn to months, the seasons roll by, the strong nylon climbing rope still holds securely, denying any way of a safe rescue to bring him down from a mile up a vertical face for a proper burial. Thus he remains the man on the end of the rope. Has that north face, that murder wall, that life of sin and hardship and death, have you bound, trapped, dead in your trespasses and sins, or will you climb repentantly back into the arms of Jesus? For he rescues the perishing, cares for the dying. Jesus is merciful, and Jesus will save. So cling to him every moment of every day, and do not ever perish as the man on the end of the rope on Mordwand, that murder wall, which is a play on Nordwand, North Wall, that mile-high wall of death. Remember, if you should slip and reach rope's end, you'll find the hem of his garments. So don't let go of that last thread of hope. It's been so nice to share this article with you, and we look forward to meeting again. Thank you for these precious moments of your time. Thank you for watching, and thank you for sharing this with friends and family. Keep growing in grace till we meet again. Till then, take care.